You guys ready for some big breakthroughs in love, in money, in friendship, and maybe in peace? That's our week ahead. This is the astrology of the week of January 20th to the 26th, where we have a beautiful mini grand trine forming between the goddess Venus, Mars, and Uranus. And this energy is good for the world, it's good for you, and it's good for me. And it's all based on a seed that was planted in February of 2024. This is an opening trine, and it's going to tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your Aquarius real estate in your natal sky, and how this is a directional plus moment for you in a story that lasts until 2026. So we call that a synodic cycle. And so when I talk about today's astrology for the week ahead, when I focus on the Venus Mars flowing energy, the cosmic lovers are doing a lovely waltz, I'm talking about a story that has a 2-year impact on your life, February of 24 until, oh my gosh, January of 2026, and how this week is a piece of a plot point. Anyone here do screenplay writing? Anybody ever been a fiction writer? This is a beat. If it's a movie, it's one of the beats. This is a plot point twist. It's like, it's part of reality. The sky is telling us stories all of the time, and this is an exciting and positive one. And when it comes to world wars and peace, we're looking at positive developments there, most likely. We'll get to that in more detail shortly, especially in places that are borders between land and sea. So any wars on land and sea borders could come to a close. Now, one thing I want to say, or not a full close necessarily, but come to some significant resolutions. Now, one of the things I'm going to do before we get going today, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses. You know the drill. And this is not Indian or Vedic astrology, is I'm going to break down a little bit about the early part of the week. As most of you know, I've already covered this in great detail in my Sun conjunct Pluto video that came out before this video on Sunday. On Thursday, that's doing very well. Your life will change. This is the first Pluto-Sun conjunction, which we're feeling Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in our lifetimes. And so it impacts you in a unique way. So go watch the video that's already out. I'm not going to cover this Monday, Tuesday content about Sun Pluto because I've done that already. So in my description box below, as you kind of see, there's a title to the video, and then there's a more button underneath. It was 3 dots. People go, where's the description box? Google it. I'll pin it to the comments, but go back and watch that video because that'll be more like your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday vibe. It's that Sun Pluto conjunction with the Mars sextile Uranus, but I'm not going to go into great detail about that because it's already been done. What I'm most excited to talk about today is what's coming up on the weekend. You'll start to feel this energy of Sun, a Venus trine Mars. Well, they're both in a sextile to Uranus on star Algol, which can be a wealth star, but also a very intense star. But Uranus himself means breakthroughs in peace, breakthroughs in money, breakthroughs in love, breakthroughs in friendship, really feel good transit. This energy is something that begins to be felt by you probably Thursday, Friday. It's more exact on Saturday and Sunday, and it's waning into Monday. So this is where we're going to take the attention in today's video. So welcome then to that conversation. Before we start as well, and this is basically an all signs video with very little world astrology. My new format at my channel starting in a couple of weeks is going to be having What in the World Wednesdays, and that is going to be a video drop every Wednesday in which all I cover is world events from the lens of astrology, also called mundane astrology. In the meantime, the rest of my content, which is usually a Sunday and a Monday, will be about you and your sign. And that's going to keep the people who like the mundane astrology happy and the people who don't like it happy by having 2 separate places for the content. Thank you to my Patreon community member who gave me this brilliant idea. I love my Patreon community. We have great long, an hour and 45-minute conversation yesterday in our all tiers Q&A. I never know how to turn us off, but I had to get to dinner with a friend because I love my community. They are the most amazing people. So if you want to check me out, I have 3 Zoom meetings a month, and it's really a lot of fun. And I also have different tiers depending on what you need and want to participate in. And they're all very affordable, for $5 a month for the cheapest tier. So before we get started on the week ahead, I want to thank everybody in the comments for my last video who are so kind and so understanding. Kind of makes me a little teary. When I disclosed that I just discovered at 62 years old that I am, well, I didn't think this would happen. That I'm on the spectrum. Okay, so I'm somewhere in there. I'm a I'm an autistic spectrum disordered individual. And, it just made sense in my whole life. I just went like, it was like dominoes falling and everything making sense, why I didn't talk in school for like 15 years of my school age childhood, until I left high school, maybe really, well, near the end of high school, and how I've adopted all these masking techniques and how everything about my life that never made sense makes sense now. So I'm going to start introducing some of that disclosure to you guys, because I realize there's probably a lot of people who have a natural special interest in astrology who can relate to this, who have an understanding of what it's like to be in the brain that's wired so much differently and so much more intuitively, I think, than most people. So I used to kind of say I'm not a muggle, but what I might have been saying is I am neurodivergent and or autistic. Now, this is based on a chain of synchronicities. It came to me. I need to go to a therapist to get a special diagnosis? Not really, but I am in the midst of taking questionnaires and tests, but it's more like check, check, check. And no, I'm not a highly sensitive person. No, I didn't have a childhood trauma under the age of 5. I do have attention deficit disorder without the hyperactivity. When I fidget or twirl my hair or squeeze my toes or pick my fingernails or anything you're not seeing, because I've got used to not showing you how fidgety I am, it's because I'm stimulating, or I'm just kind of stimming. I'm creating a regulation for my nervous system. So it's not hyperactivity like as a kid. I can still sit at a desk without moving for 9 hours, especially if I'm engaged in a special interest. You'll lose me, man. My focus is amazing. So I want to share one thing. One of the things I learned that's been really helpful for me is how my nervous system is so different when it comes to my sensory input. And I'm just sharing this with anybody here who might happen to listen, who's not sure. This is just one of the many facets of being perhaps on the spectrum. But one of the things I didn't understand is that I just assumed everybody growing up had the same issues with stimulation through sound and hearing and touch. And I now realize that is quite not the normative. But one thing I always knew is that like my partner gets into our kitchen and puts the fluorescent light on overhead. I have to walk in and do this. There's one light in the kitchen. It's a stove light and another light by the microwave that isn't so blaring. And I'll walk in and say, do you mind if I just turn this off? And I'll turn the other lights on, because I cannot take overhead lights, bright light, etc. Even a ring light is too much for me at night. So that's why I do all my videos in the daytime, because a ring light at night in my face to do a YouTube video in the evening is just too intense for me. Also, I have to record all my videos for you guys during the day. So the oversensitivity around certain kinds of light is an example. But another oversensitivity I have is also around smell. My partner laughs because I'll be walking down the street and go, oh my God, what's that smell? And it might be some paint fumes, like an auto body shop or some car exhaust or whatever. I'm so hypersensitive to smell. And I remember one time, so I left the front window open in my apartment, and like in the bedroom window, and someone was doing like some kind of spray glue on their car or something outside the window, and it came wafting in, and it doesn't just smell bad. I feel anxious. It gives me like a sense of panic attack. Like, is this anthrax? Or no, anthrax isn't a smell, but what am I smelling? Is it poisonous? What is this smell? So that has been something that has been interesting to discover. May not be all that normal. Like, you guys, it's not that normal, right? What other sensory problems do I have? Fabrics, I don't wear socks. I can't stand tags. And there's certain ways, like when someone rubs their hand on fabric, like I go to a massage sometimes for a foot massage, and I have these leggings on, so I'll pull my leggings up, right, and they'll do my legs. I like massage. I'll get to that in a minute. But then when they're done, they'll pull the legging down, and then they'll rub their hands on my fabric, and it's almost like nails on a chalkboard, because I can imagine my hands rubbing on fabric, and I can't do it. I cannot rub my hands on fabric. It doesn't matter what kind of fabric it is. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. And when someone does it to me, all of a sudden I imagine I'm doing it myself, and all of a sudden I'm just cringing. And when it comes to touch, if someone's giving me really light touch in a massage, like really light, like this kind of stuff, it sends me over. Like, I can't deal. Same with, erratic touch. So I have like 2 or 3 massage therapists, that I go to. Like, I know that these guys on the foot massage place, I like body as well. I know what their pressure is like. I know that they're consistent. They're not erratic. I know that they're not giving me any of that weird light touch. It just drives me insane. So it's so much, right? Sounds bother me. but it's usually if it's unexpected, like a car horn honking, I get angry. I mean, why would I be angry that someone's honking a car horn while I'm driving? And my daughter always laughs. I'll say that effing asshole, because it just jars my nervous system. And when I was living in Montreal, my landlord did a total conversion, gutting reno above me. And there was a lot of hammering and banging and all of that. And, you think that would bother me, right? And it did. And it was very hard for my nervous system. And I couldn't get away from it. I mean, my office and my home are one place. And it was during the pandemic. But what was interesting is that all of those sounds didn't bother me. The one that bothered me was what the plumbers were doing when they had some kind of metal saw sawing through metal, like pipes. That sound was enough to send me into an absolute catatonic state, whereas the hammering and the banging was fine. So it's like not all sound bothers me. So touch, light, sound, smell, you got the gist of it. So I will share more about this, but in the comments, I'd love to hear how many of you guys know that you have maybe an autistic spectrum disorder, you're somewhere on the spectrum, and how many of you have these sensory issues. So I'll be sharing more of my discoveries as I go. I've got so many, like small talk. Oh my God, someone just shoot me. Eye contact. I got some stories there. Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about it. It's so now because you're listening to my astrology channel, I will get back to astrology, but because now understanding the mind that I've been born with, the brain that I've been born with is my new special interest. I almost want to start a new channel like the autistic astrologer, honestly, but I don't know if I have time for it because I don't want to bleed through too much of my discovery here, but I'm so into it because I'm now not only in research mode, discovery mode, I'm voraciously consuming content by other people on YouTube who've been through this late diagnosis or late understanding that it's just my special interest. So I'm sorry if it's your interest. I totally get it. So we'll get back to astrology. I'm going to show you the sky. We're going to talk about this beautiful mini trine between Venus and Mars and Uranus, breakthroughs in things that Venus cares about and things that Mars care about. So we'll be talking about how that looks for your sign. Don't forget, if you're going to be checking out anything about me, it's all in the description box below. And my 2025 individual and all signs videos are still for sale to the end of the month. And it's me giving you 2 hours of video content that you can download as an audio file, a video file, an unlisted YouTube video link to understand how to navigate 2025 based on your sign. And I also created an individual written PDF for each sign as well. And it is very, very affordable. The 25% off price makes the already affordable product even more affordable because it wasn't for me about, it was fundraising for equipment and time stampers and assistance, but it's also important to me that everybody has at least some modicum of guidance in life that can help you make sense of the trends and patterns in your life and how to flow with that energy. All astrology is pattern recognition. And by the way, I just found out the autistic brain is really good at pattern recognition. So let's go ahead and let's talk and understanding cyclical patterns as well. Let's go ahead and do your sign. I'm going to open it up. I did not expect to get emotional there, but I'm okay with it. I think it's been such a deep relief for me, like at a level I can't even begin to share, like a relief. Not anything about it makes me upset. It feels like, oh my effing God, what a relief. Now I understand myself. And I'm trying to share it with friends who probably always got upset or frustrated with me about ways I behave that doesn't conform to social norms. So yeah, that happens. This is too busy and I'm going to exit away from taking a few guys out of there because there's some complicating factors here. I mean, a lot of people say, look at this. What's this thing that, Mercury's doing with Athena and Mars? But Mercury's really beyond that. He's talked to Mars already 4 degrees ago or 4 days before we get to the 25th, which is a Saturday here. Athena, sure. Yeah, she's good for world event astrology. So I will just say this, very likely that we're going to see, give peace a chance, right? Because what I'm seeing here is negotiating Mercury, the god of, negotiations and deal making and details and contracts, is talking with Athena. And Athena has been talking with contractual agreements, even including peace. And there's a bit of a mystic rectangle forming here. And Mars is a god of war, and he's swimming through the backwards through the sea of the pond of Cancer. He's very territorial here, but he's talking to contracts and agreements and legal and strategic and information and deal making, and also talking to breakthroughs Uranus. So that mystic rectangle that we're seeing here, to me, is speaking strongly to world peace, or to something like probably the Middle East, probably. Now, will that go smoothly? Maybe not. Why? Venus is in a malefic enclosure right here between Saturn and Neptune, which could indicate, even though it looks like things are going well, it could take time. On the other hand, maybe the malefic enclosure is Venus being forced to negotiate a peace deal because she's exalted in Pisces. Pisces is exactly what Gaza is. It's a border between ocean and sea. And this could be what that means. For all of us, however, I want to simplify it because you're going to see in the middle of this a very, right? This is the triangle I want, this little breakthrough triangle here. And this little breakthrough triangle is simple. And so rather than me have this whole thing up, I'm going to simply keep it as Uranus, Venus, the stellium, and Mars. And that will be what we're focused on for your weekend ahead. And it starts on Thursday. It's building up. You're feeling it. You don't have to wait around and, oh, I'm not feeling it. You should be feeling it, So let's get down to the brass tacks simplicity of what I'm trying to show you. We have Venus, we have Mars. We don't need the sun and the moon. They're just complicating the sky. We have Venus, we have Mars. We don't even need poor old Jupiter. Well, we'll keep him in because he's the lord of what Venus is up to. And we don't really need the nodes of fate either. Well, yes, we do, because it's with Venus, so we'll keep it. Okay, there. How simple does that look, guys? That looks fantastic to me. So this is the week ahead astrology. And if you want more content from me, then I'm giving you here. My Substack Pluto Chronicles has an audio week ahead that I put out every Sunday. If that's a paid subscription level, but also a lot of free articles. And I did a deep dive into the Pluto-Sun conjunction for each sign for a mere like $7 or $8 a month. You could subscribe to my content there, but I also put a lot of free stuff out as well. So go check it out. It's in the description box. It's under the title of the video. It's where all content creators describe the content and put everything. If you don't know where to find a description box, you can just Google how to find the description box under videos on YouTube. Sorry if I sound annoyed, but I find sometimes it's absolutely amazing that people will ask me these questions in the comments, and you can go to Google and say, what does she mean by under the more button? So here we have it. See, that's an Aspie trait, or that's an autistic trait. I am very blunt. I also don't know how to lie very well, although I can be adaptive and masking. It's not a trait, and I certainly am really bad at keeping secrets. Okay, so here we have, because that means I'm lying, right? Like not if I'm confronted, I will usually tell the truth. So I'm going to go back a day, because even though it's pretty exact here, which is Saturday, I'm going to put it now. I like it nice and dark. We'll start there, and I'm going to start with Aries. And okay. Here we have it. So let's start off with the story of Venus, the goddess of peace. Now, just Venus does many things. She's friendship, friendliness, kindness, beauty, peace, love, romantic love, friendships as well, fertility. So much going on here. It's like sperm and ovum. So I'll try to address what it might mean for your sign most specifically. So here we have the Aries sun, moon, and rising sign for this week ahead, focused on the weekends, building up Thursday through to Sunday, Monday. You're going to see this blue triangle that's building and building and building. Now, it is strongly connected here to a breakthrough in your financial matters, most likely, and sometimes food style habits, because the second house where breakthrough Uranus sits has to do with not only your financial resources and financial earnings and wellness and money and possessions, but also has to do with your ingestion of things through your face, including nose and mouth. So when we have habits that are not good for us, weed, vapes, wine, weed, whatever you're doing, this could be a breakthrough energy around the end of that, because Mars cuts, ends, and severs, and he's lining up a breakthrough if your addictive substance habit pattern about what you ingest through nose and mouth is coming off of childhood matters, things to do with mom and dad and family of origin, things to do with things that happened to you, including traumas in your childhood, because that's the fourth house where Mars is traveling retrograde, taking you back to the past. And you could have a deep spiritual awakening under this, but also a breakthrough around the things that hold you back that you ingest. Now, I'm going to also say, because I'm an Aries sun and moon, I completely relate, because it's by discovering that the ASD is active in my life, I'm able to realize how I've been coping with my wine lover's unmiddle way sometimes to regulate and decompress after trying to fit in to this world that deregulates me. So you're also going to maybe have a breakthrough in your finances. And it can come from something in digital income, foreign lands, revenue. 12th house, far off foreign shores or distant places or people, and a financial breakthrough of some sort. It tends to look sometimes like Uranus can bring you sort of bolts or jolts of sudden escalations of things, like exhilarating even. It doesn't have to be bad, and it's on a well star algol. And, there's that Mars sitting there, and maybe Mars is busy doing some kind of action and work or ambition or passion from the home, for example, that can lead to some kind of financial breakthrough. With Mars in the 4th house, that's your home. That's where you live. That's your nest. And he's taking you backwards to the past, your childhood memories, maybe, but he's also just going back. And so some of you may experience something along the lines of a breakthrough while you're traveling, Mars, from your home, connected to friendship and love and beauty and fun in a foreign shore. And there can be a breakthrough energy because of foreign shore distance, long distance travel. I have to laugh. I'm going to be traveling with a girlfriend to Mexico, and with the retrograde Mars, it means you've been there before. Of course, I love Mexico. My favorite people, my favorite food, my favorite country, other than Canada. Well, I don't even like Canada. I prefer Mexico and Rome. But there you go. Canadians are ice cold. The old foreigner song, "Cold as ice." That's our Canadians. We are so distant. We're like the Swiss, but the passion of the Latin cultures and the friendliness of them have always drawn me. And so going back to a to a place in a far off distant shore that you've been to before, leading to some kind of breakthrough, either in substance abuse disorders or misuse disorders, or maybe something to do with your finances. So keep that in mind and let me know how it goes. And I'm dying to hear how it goes for some of us fellow Aries. How do you break through here in this storyline? I do read my comments, by the way. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign, the little mini trine of breakthrough is coming to you in your identity. Like, I've always thought I was gay and now I'm straight. I always thought I was, this or that, the I am house. I am blank, right? Define yourself. I am married. I am unmarried. I'm single. I am this, I am that. So what your I am house has been having sort of like electric shock therapy ever since 2018, when Uranus began dipping in there. It was May of 18 to October 2018, then full on. I think it was February 19 and until, by the way, 2027, like full on. Oh, into 2026. February. So there's still a lot of this kind of electric shock therapy of revelation about who you really are, or what you really are, or what you really want, or who you want to be. Like, it's the be, I be house, not, say I am, I be, I am. So these changes of identity, these electric shocks have been ongoing for you, and depends on your ascendant degree. I mean, if your ascendant degree is in the early degrees, like maybe the first 5, you probably got more shock therapy 2018 to 20, and the later degree, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, are in the middle of it now until 2026, so it's a story that takes time, but it's generally still in the house of your sun, moon, and rising. So you're still feeling it no matter what. And this breakthrough that you can have personally is connected to Venus exalted in your 11th house of career gains, long range goals and dreams and wishes for your life, your social circles and networks and friendships, and Mars in the 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house is a busy place. It could be short distance travel. It could be your communications online, your website, your social media platforms, your writing projects, your skills-based learning or teaching. These are things we do in the 3rd house. And the 3rd house is also the sibling younger than you, one younger. And the 11th house is a sibling one older than you. And so there could be a lot of electric currents going through the house of sibling younger, sibling older, etc. Now, Venus is a bit demure, or what is, that's the right word. She's a bit restrained between Saturn and the North Node. So even though Uranus is flashes of electrical currents that are exciting or surprising or unexpected, maybe there's a little softness to this with Venus in her kind of more constrained mode. But something may be coming through from a friendship group or friendship circle, and some changes you might want to make in actions and decisions you eventually want to take. Now, I think I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, and I forgot to repeat it, that the seed was planted here for changes in your Aquarius house. Sorry, Aries, I forgot to tell you about that. And I'm not going back to fix it, because being ASD, I've been overcoming perfectionism all of my life. March but it is true that back in February of 2024, Venus and Mars co-joined in Aquarius. And so a lot of the change that wants to happen is coming through the Aquarius part of your sky, vis-a-vis the houses 11 and 3. So some of the changes about your career, some of the changes are about your reputation. But as it shows up from those friends, allies, benefactors, someone could step in and give you a hand. Someone could step in and give you some help around things that have to do with third house business. Third house business can be the commute, the brick and mortar business, the online career path, the marketing, selling, and writing, and something flowing from the 11th house that impacts your ultimate career and reputation matters. It's like a friendly, supportive, benefactor energy. Good things, good spirit happen in the 11th house of good spirit. All I can say is it is a personal breakthrough, and it's coming to you in a way that impacts how you perceive your career path and how you perceive your reputation in the world. And it feels to me positive. And, you know, when it comes to the idea that Venus and Mars connected in February in your 10th house, and what by the time you get to January of 26, that is a finished story. Are you having passionate enjoyment and a balance of yin and yang between receptive and action-oriented, go-getter and receiving the goodness? Do you have that balance in the work you're doing? Because if you don't, in your career and work part of your life, for those of you who work, this is going to be a beginning of that shift with this beautiful opening trine. And finally, last thing I'll say, a sudden unexpected travel opportunity may emerge coming up, Thursday through to Monday. And in that regard, good things come of it. Good things happen from it. And so if there's an opportunity for travel, you might want to say yes. Jupiter would like you to increase your financial well-being, but he doesn't go direct until February 4th, but he's trying to get Venus to help with that. And so some of this is career and money matters, trying to turn a corner in a breakthrough way coming up for you Thursday through Monday. All right, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. So contextually reminding you that in February of 2024, Venus co-joined with Mars in your Aquarius house in the sky, which is your 9th house, which is a house of spiritual stuff, wisdom, truth, knowledge, God, spiritual philosophy, dharma, the right path in life, book publishing, foreign lands and shores, third marriages, luck. You are going to be experiencing the mini trine, the mini grace triangle in your houses 10, 12, and 2. And this indicates some positive, unexpected, surprising, but delightful breakthroughs, Uranus, maybe regarding 12th house matters. Well, 12th house matters can include distant shores and far off lands, generating revenue online or through foreign companies and foreign people, or spiritual breakthroughs. And yet, as Uranus is sitting there saying, I got a breakthrough, and it's a wealth star. So if you generate online money, this could be a nice little uptick. I've got a wealth star for you here. Let's go with it. Venus is a goddess of money in the 10th house, flowing to that Uranus. And so there's some career stories with breakthrough energy that it's destined. If you use YouTube videography platforms, Neptune's up there, and you could have a seriously significant breakthrough, maybe a bit of a mini viral video or something going up, etc., or a publication and taking off for you, like a Substack or something, because the 9th house was the original seed that was planted. And that seed that was planted by the conjunction in February of 2024, and doesn't expire till January of 2026, right? It's a 2-year seed planting. So this is something that is embedding turning points or plot points into a larger narrative. So career breakthroughs could activate book publishing or publications or publishing or spiritual philosophy or more success in a third marriage environment. Third marriage means there's a third person you're with, that you long-term committed love story. What does Mars say? He wants money. Give me the money. Give me the money, honey. Moolah, moolah, moolah. Why? Because Mars is in the second house of what you possess, what you earn, and your financial wellness. Retrograding back over old ground. And this old ground that he's retrograding over here in the sign of Cancer is back into the same real estate in the sky that he was traveling through in the month of October. So ways that money was happening for you in the month of October, or ways that your possessions and earnings were activating in the month of October, are relevant right now, really, to something to do with, what may happen this Thursday through Sunday in an escalation of financial wellness connected to a rinse repeat from matters of October and another element coming forth from that. If you want to eliminate a food style dietary habit, Mars is good for that. You might have tried to do this in October. You could do it again. Uranus says breakthrough, and it's good for your career. And because it's in the house of reputation, as you change your food style up, you might want to be also telling the world about it. Like, I figured out how to quit drinking wine at the end of the day because I'm deregulated. I have a Gemini progress sun. I doth digress. All right, let's keep on keeping on to the next sign. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's go into this story here. Let's stop the share for a sec. Some of you know that I'm a fan of the Otter spirit bracelets, and they're all astrologically coded. You can get the prosperity trio. I am just an affiliate. I make like $10 a month on these guys. Believe me, I'm not selling anything that's high ticket. These are just beautiful, and you get 20% off if you use my affiliate link below. And I can't remember what moonstone, aventurine, I don't know, labradorite or whatever, onyx baby. But I wear these because I feel good when I wear them. And I realize now that I might have a natural telepathy with crystals, but check it out below. You can get stuff that's catered to your sun, moon, or rising sign. And the link to the Otter spirit jewelry, which is grade A semi-precious stones, is in my description box. I always forget to share this because I'm always wearing this, because I actually wear these every day. And I always forget that I'm an affiliate and I never remember to share. Okay, so Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. All right, so let's talk about Mars before I start anything, because Mars has been in your sign, right, for an enormous, ginormous amount of time. You're going to have to go back to like September of 1977, really, and through till June of 1978 for this kind of Mars and Leo, Mars in Cancer cycle. It's the same one that we had exactly the same way back then. So this is exceptional for you. It's rare. It's worth noting, because as Mars is retrograding through your sign, you're literally going back to October. And you're also remembering September, October, Mars traveling through Cancer. And then coming back again, January 6th until, oh my God, April 18th, and turning direct on February 23rd. This matters because you are trying to make decisions. You are trying to contemplate actions that need addressing. And that's what Mars does in this house of I am, the Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. Sun is career, moon is home-based matters. Cancer rising is anything in your life you need to consider, yay, nay, this way, up, down. Decisions are Mars's wheelhouse. So, and actions that follow from are deciding or choosing what we want. Now, with Mars here in this mini grand trine, there is a beautiful breakthrough energy, but it is seated February 22nd, 2024, when the Mars conjunction to Venus happened in your 8th house of money you do not earn. I call it chunky money. It's like you do not get a paycheck from this. Your investments in the markets, your credit card loans, your mortgages, you share the money with the bank, shareholders in the stock, your money you share from inheritances with someone who passes, your money you share with your spouse in divorce or in marriage. This is the 8th house chunky money, revenue from ad income, royalties. Now share the money with the publisher. You see, it's not all for you. I share the money for my ads with YouTube, right? With Google. So that kind of money is what is changing for you, because back in February of 2024, and I'm not going to over belabor it, but this also happened in March of 22. There were 2 Aquarius conjunctions. You have until your mission, if you choose to accept it, you have until January of 26 to figure out this money story here. What are you doing with that kind of money in your life? Because Venus Mars wants to bring a harmonious union, a great blessing to you in this part of your chart. And it's to balance the hustle and the receivingness, the yang and the yin of life in your longer range treasure chest of unearned income, including your retirement funds. So all of that said, this mini grand trine activates the windfall house. Why? Because Uranus on a well star is in the house of pennies from heaven. And for some of you, there may be a financial windfall emerging Thursday through to Monday in your life. It could come from a friend, an ally, a benefactor, a sibling, one older or one young, one older. And ka-ching, ka-ching, here comes this windfall. Similarly, Mars is acting in a way that he's still pondering decisions. I don't think he's going to make any significant choices until he goes direct February 23rd. But suddenly there's a eureka, an aha about career gains. You might come into an alignment with a dharmic path or purpose in your career that's going to allow for a movement towards greater financial goodness, because this is an aha moment in a house of the money you make from your 10th. And Chiron's up here, you can't see him, and you're trying to find a deep alignment with true purpose and the gifts and talents, your original medicine for the world. If you're in the book publishing industry, this is a very positive energy. It kind of stimulates a bit of a breakthrough. If you're somebody who is dealing with a court matter, a financial court matter and a lawsuit, this could be a breakthrough energy Thursday through Monday. And all I can say is that because it's, the 11th house of good spirit is a place where good things happen, this is a good thing. You're not going to stress about whatever this is. Jupiter in your 12th house could bring breakthroughs in financial matters connected to career and purpose that are also connected to distant shores, digital income, foreign lands, and revenue generated online. And that's what I've got for us, you, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Number one, you have got this energy of a reset button in Aquarius. We have to go back to the big synodic cycle. So yes, in March of 22, and then in February of 2024, you had two Venus-Mars conjunctions in Aquarius. And you want to reset your love relationships, most of you. Some of you are your audience and client and marketplace. So positive resets to balance yin and yang energy in how you approach client, marketplace, audience, business partners, and long-term committed marriage and love or monogamous relationship. And that includes, friendliness versus sex and passion, trying to find that balance. Is this person a friend with benefits? Is this person my real person? Because Venus is I'm your friend, and here's a box of chocolates, and Mars is like, let's get down on the bed yesterday already. So there's this kind of reclamation of the balance in a long-term committed love story when it comes to the daily buddy friendship vibe and the sex and romance vibe, or affection and appreciation, or something like that. So this has been going on for you guys for a while. This February 22nd of 2024 conjunction does not finish its narrative until January of 2026, when Venus and Mars co-join in Capricorn. So this is going to indicate a kind of turning point that's positive in this longer term energy of your 7th house. What we see is a breakthrough in the career space and the reputation, Uranus. What we see is a financial matter being addressed in the chunky money house, including money you share with a partner in business or love, including inheritances, including money that you have because of investments, chunky money. Venus is constrained between Saturn and the North Node, which could indicate that she's feeling a little bit stuck, or she's got a little bit of a border lot. She's between a rock and a hard place. So I'm not saying that everything looks super swell, but yeah, Uranus on the well star in the 10th house, maybe a breakthrough in your career and money matters, but also always connecting to that audience, marketplace, clients, or significant other. So marital shared assets are important for you here. Mars in the 12th house. This is a house where he may be investigating the childhood, past lives. He's going back to territory. He traveled since October. He's back in the October territory. You may be making decisions or trying to take actions to cut away or end some kind of career path. Jupiter says it's also about the career earnings, and Venus is saying I want to make money maybe in a more harmonious, easy way. So there's some changes and breakthroughs around career, earnings, money, career gains. And Mars is very much like in the isolation chamber in the 12th house, right? He's really thinking deeply here. To make a decision and take an action before February 23rd about your long range career actions and plans may not happen, especially when it comes to how you forge your shared monies with your spouse, your tax arrangements, your debts, your loans, your mortgages, all that kind of stuff. There's something that wants to really break through, but you have to wait a bit. You have to wait. I mean, Venus is telling Uranus, we want to make a change, but it's also going to connect to our visible reputation. One last thought, if your partner is an unfaithful or you're having a secret love affair, Venus is very much capable of that in the 8th house. And Mars is like going to make a major jolt to Uranus, etc. Hidden secrets around sex and love affairs may blast through the sky for some of you coming up this Thursday, Friday through Monday. Yet it's good. It's good for you because it's a mini grand trine and it brings a breakthrough and a cleansing and a clearing. Like after the storm, everything is much better, right? So it clears the air, shakes some secrets out. It could be shaking secrets out for some of you. All right. It is you guys. You are called Virgo. And here we go. Now, the backdrop story. Uranus is a part of your sky. Aquarius is a part of your sky that where you have a job or where you have pets. And you had basically Mars cut, sever, Venus friendly love, unions of conjunctions here back in March of 22 and then again February of 24. A Virgo friend of mine lost her pet, and my Virgo daughter, her longtime pet from childhood, passed away. Sorry, that's a story of Mars cut, Venus love, sever pets. So some of you, or Virgos, are losing usually elder pets, right? March of 22 to February 24, and then February 2024 to January 2026. And you can also suddenly surprisingly get a new pet because of the same energy. So keep in mind that that's true. But this is the job house, the health and health routines house. And there's been a lot of energy trying to find a harmonious balance between what you hustle to do in the Marsian energy and what you receive and enjoy through the Venus in work and livelihood matters. And the connection between Mars and Venus in February 22 in your work house doesn't complete until January of 26. And this sky with this mini grand trine is a part of that bigger, let's find the work that's in balance for us. Let's find the health routines that are in balance for us, that kind of thing. Let's find the pet that's in balance for us. And because of this triangle that you're seeing here, this is going to pull in energies this Thursday through Monday that connect to your spouse or your business partner or your marketplace or your client. 7th house matters. They're connected to surprising Uranian elements in the house of third marriages, 9th house, in the house of long distance travel, foreign lands, in the house that has to do with spiritual attainment, wisdom and knowledge, and Mars over here in your 11th house of the sibling one older, friends, allies, benefactors. Now, here's the deal. I kind of think this mini grand triangle is going to light you up with a breakthrough energy that's connected strongly to a sense of having an alignment with spiritual purpose or an alignment with your dharmic path. But for some of you, it could also be a sudden aha moment that you want to move to another country or travel to a foreign shore for some reason with your partner, or move your work to another country, or move your work and your business partners to another land because, you got that foreigner breakthrough in the 9th house, or go back to school for some of you and re-educate yourself or educate yourself for the first time in order to be in alignment with your work. Mars is really interesting in your 11th house. He's back where he was in October. It makes sometimes it hard to stay in touch with friends here because he's like cutting and severing and slicing. He's cutting the dead wood off your friendship tree, And some of you might find that if you had any kind of conflict with a friend in September, October, particularly October, separation from an important friend, then this is back again for a readdressing Thursday through Monday. And there's some kind of thing that wants to show up here regarding how you inhabit your friendships in a more clean way that's true for who you are. Because ultimately with Mars flowing to the 7th house, it's how you relate. This is a relating axis to friends in a more authentic way. And that doesn't surprised because Virgos, you guys are always of service, and you're always trying to do what is the right thing to serve your partner, your marriage partner, your friendship circles. And there's kind of like a electric aha moment coming up Thursday through Monday, where some of you may just completely see where your acts of service, so to speak, have been, misguided, and you need to be more self-nurturant or something. Or maybe the other way, you're too selfish, you need to nurture the others, because of course the North Node is pointing to the house of marriage to expand the way you focus on a marriage partnership. Jupiter is telling Venus what to do. And so there could be some push-pull here between the career obligations, reputation, workspace stuff, and the attention you have for your marriage partner. And you might be trying to find that balance Thursday through to Monday. And this mini grind trine can bring some breakthroughs in that regard. One last way this can work. If you're looking for a new job and you're looking at a job change, and most likely wait, by the way, to Jupiter's direct February 4th, this could also be a breakthrough moment, like, because, the HR department is like the 9th house, right? Human resources. So there could be a breakthrough, like a headhunter or a job interview, a human resources moment coming through Thursday through Monday that'll help you figure this out. And then by February 4th, when Jupiter goes direct, actions begin to unfold. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And don't forget to make comments happen. If you watched the beginning of my video, some of you may not have. I did talk about being ASD, autistic spectrum disordered type individual. Please go check that out too if you want to know more about that, because you might discover you have some things in common. There are many things you could talk about, anything, unexpected changes, who can't stand small talk, eye contact. Don't ring the doorbell. If it rings, I'm freaked out. But I talked about sensory overload. Okay, so if you want to go listen to the sensory overload intro, do that. This girl's getting some chocolate. She'll be right back for the second half. So let's continue, shall we? And you'll like all natural jewelry made by Otter Spirit. 20% off in my description box, and it's astrologically curated. Uh-oh. That was the perfect example of the phone ringing when I'm on task. And I only picked it up because I was expecting a call from my pharmacy. And because I don't have the pharmacy in my contacts, it's just a Vancouver number. And it was somebody I've never talked to, haven't talked to in years. I have no idea why. I said, just text me, dude. And I ended the call. So I would never answer my phone, ever answer my phone. Okay. If I didn't know who it was. And I don't even answer the phone when I know who it is. I need to take my time to get back to them when I'm in the mood for actually having to engage with a person. So that was a fail. That was not my pharmacist telling me whether or not that script will be ready before I go off on my trip. Okay, that's just like classic. Now I have to go get back into my groove. All right, so let's get going and do the next signs. I get angry when the phone rings and I pick it up and I'm not expecting who's on the other end. Like in this case, that's my fault, not that guy's fault, but my fault for picking the phone up. I almost always let things go to voicemail, almost always, but this was time sensitive. I thought it was. Okay, so here we go. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is our story, your story, not even mine. We want to take you back in time. Go back to January of You can go back to March of 22 or February of 2024. Both of those times there was a Mars-Venus conjunction in Aquarius, right? And that's those 4 years are all about resetting your fifth house of sexuality, romantic love, creativity, entrepreneurship, and your children and fertility. Now, Venus and Mars together, Venus will make babies. Mars will be like, is this the right timing? But you're still under a fertility transit. If you want to make a baby, you can make a baby book. You can make a baby business, but you're making babies. You're going to think about it anyway. The sperm and the ovum, kind of vibe is happening here. So yin and yang, getting down. So there's also romantic love that could come off of this. And so if you go March of 2020, February of 2024, and you wait till January 26 and you're single, you may find new love coming your way, or fertility, or babies, or baby books, or baby businesses, or baby creative projects being born for you. And in the backdrop of that story of passion and joy and fun and pleasure and enthusiasm and inspiration in your fifth house of good fortune, You also now have this mini triangle opening up between Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus are trying each other. It's so positive. It's like Venus is like, I'm here from the house of work, looking at Mars in the 10th house who wants to quit his job. Well, some of you may be looking at something like the following themes emerging for Thursday through Monday. We'll get to the breakthrough in a minute. Oh, I am going back over old things that I was thinking about doing, decisions and actions or projects I was working on in my September, especially October of 24 timeframe. And Mars is backtracking over that kind of old ground of October through till February 23rd. So it's going back over old energy, old ground in the work and reputation house. Venus is exalted in the work house, meaning your boss loves you, you're doing well, everybody thinks it's great, you're super swell in the employee-employer relationship vibe, but you're feeling a little bit like a straitjacket here because Venus is constrained between the North Node and Saturn, a little bit of constriction, but a breakthrough. And the breakthrough is the 8th house of chunky money. This could indicate some kind of financial breakthrough connected to work and career, or some kind of financial breakthrough that smooths out some decisions you're trying to make in work and career. The money that comes off the breakthrough algal wealth star and Uranus, shocking, surprising, royalty income, passive income, stock investment income taking off, business partner monies, your partner, your shared revenue with your spouse, boom, something's like a nice little sweet spot of yay. Thursday through Monday, but then it also helps you make that decision or take those actions that are needed. Because I think, Mars is retrograde. He likes to quit jobs. He was last this long in your 10th house back in 77, 78, September to June. And, Mars won't even leave your career house until mid-April, but he does turn direct on the 3rd week of February, meaning that changes are ahoy in the work environment that allow for you to access joy, fun, play, pleasure, balance, and birth creative and entrepreneurial projects into being. I'm not saying all of you want to become an entrepreneur, but some of you may move in that direction in the next 2 years. And if not, you'll have a side hustle that you're willing to go for because you need to find the spark of joy and fun and pleasure and play and inspiration in your life through that conjunction that's been demanding something of you, February of 24 through to January of 26, backdrop story. Algol is a wealth star. Uranus is a shocker surprise. 8th house is some chunky money. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying you're winning the lottery. I'm not even thinking you're winning the lottery, but I will mention that you could have a sense of winning the lottery because what lottery wins is also when Mars and Venus joined in the 5th house back in February. And between February and next January, you could feel like you won the lottery. Something creative, something exciting and stimulating. Jupiter, who's telling Venus what to do, is in the house of book publishing, the house of foreign lands and international travel, the house of publications. So you might be also looking at choosing to publish a book or thinking about expanding your interest in something new because Jupiter likes to learn and this is a higher education. And maybe you'll have some kind of breakthrough coming through this sky Thursday through Monday to do with, do I want to go to school and learn something different from what I'm doing in my day job kind of thing? Because Mars, I tell you, Mars is like, either Mars works his ass off and he's passionate or he quits jobs when he's in the 10th house. And you're not getting rid of Mars up here until April the 18th. Retirement monies belong to the 8th house. Some of you might be thinking, depending on your age, of stepping out of the workforce completely. If that's true, this looks like it's a yes, but there are some breakthroughs in your finances that allow for this to be true. There are some weird clouds outside my window right now. It's a pure blue sky day, and there are 2 total UFOs out there. I am not kidding you. Those are the weirdest looking clouds. They just don't fit. They really don't fit. Oh, well, I'll deal with them. One's an egg shape and one's a sideways flying saucer. And then a crow flew by when I said that. These are clouds way over the mountains. They're just odd. They're just odd. They don't fit the sky. Okay, that's my ADD, by the way, not my ASD. All right, that's what I got for you. Let's keep going. Let's move into the next sign. All right. Next, am I still recording? Oh my God. Yes, I did start it again. Thank God. That's the danger of being attention deficit disorder. And I'm not hyperactive. I sit at my desk for hours in school and in my home. Is that I lose my thread. Yeah. So this is Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. A backdrop story is that on Aquarius, air, sky territory, in that real estate of your fourth house of home property and real estate, land, legacy, wealth, family of origin, there was a Venus conjunction to Mars in March of 22, but also February of 2024. The February 24 is the one that's operating right now. It indicates a desire for a reset button between love, beauty, harmony, peace, and romance in the home, passion, creativity, maybe for some of you. Venus is creative arts and Mars is a passion for your creative arts in the home, but also maybe change of home to a home you love or a beautiful new home. These are things that Mars and Venus could do until like between February of 24 and January of 2026. Already. And in that regard, the bigger story this week with this beautiful mini trine is connected to your fourth house. You can't separate it. So here we have, Venus flowing to Mars in a beautiful waltz, and they're in beautiful water, and it's like a very flowing vibe between your sexual and romantic house and your creative and artistic house and your entrepreneurial house. This is fifth house. And the house of your children, and a flow to Mars in the ninth house of foreign lands and travel. Okay, so for example, this could be setting you up for an exciting adventure with your significant other that feels like a relationship breakthrough as you guys are going to journey to a far off foreign shore and land. Now, will this happen like during the sky activation? Maybe not. I mean, this is Thursday through Monday, but you might book the tickets. You might figure out the destination. You might plan the trip. So that's one example, but it will lead to a breakthrough in the relationship. On the other hand, this is oh, honey, we're pregnant. Totally this, or, oh, honey, oh, you're going to be a grandparent and you totally didn't expect it. And that's because Venus, sperm, and ovum goddess over here in the house of baby making is in a shock and awe to the house of spouse. So if you're with a significant relationship partner, this could look like an announcement or discovery or a missed menstrual cycle or something like that, Thursday through Monday. So there you go. What else can I say? It could happen for some of you. Your partner may have a breakthrough because they're Uranus, and this breakthrough could open up a huge amount of success for them in their creative endeavors, their own entrepreneurial endeavors, or things connected to legal matters and winning. Certainly, Venus could bring some financial wins to you through legal entanglements and lawsuits. Okay. So there's that kind of vibe up there. Mars is like the lawyer. He's working his ass off. He's working his ass off in the house of courts, and this could be the win for anyone who's a Scorpio involved in a challenge, or decisions have to be made and actions taken Thursday through Monday regarding creative projects and publications, book publishing, etc. Jupiter is going to help you with your long-range money through to June 9th. So trust the universe, especially after February 4th, as he's like, here's some inheritance money, here's a chunk of money, here's a tax rebate, here's a perfect mortgage. I don't know. He's doing something like that. So keep that in mind. And the reason I brought Jupiter in your eighth house up is he's telling Venus what to do. So Venus is like, okay, what do you want me to do in your Pisces mansion? And Jupiter says, money, honey, right? We need some big chunks of money. So there you go. And that's what I got for you. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. The backdrop story of the Mars-Venus trine coming up this weekend is going to be the backdrop of February 22nd, when Venus and Mars co-joined together in Aquarius, as they also did in March of 2022. This conjunction in Aquarius in February of 2024, with an expiry date of January of 2026, wants to initiate a harmonious, beautiful, positive, balanced change in your third house matters. Now, this is your writing house, your communicating, social media, short distance traveling, neighbors, and neighborhood. This is also the house of anything that goes on with your younger sibling, one below you, or your connection to the extended aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Now, in essence, there's something that wants to be renewed here. Something wants a fresh beginning, and it will not fully be realized maybe till January of 26. But this beautiful trine that opens up here, Thursday through to Monday energetically, is simply this. Venus wants to be in an exalted, beautiful home by the sea, maybe, seaside home, or beautiful home connected to water boundaries and borders. A pond would do, and She wants to exalt the home, design the home, beautify the home, paint the home. Saturn says build or construct the home. I do know some Sagittarius who might be thinking of building a new home, buying a new home, and then renovating the home, that kind of thing. So that's what Venus is up to down here. Just keep it in mind, right? But it's always about what that neighborhood is about. And a lot of you may be thinking of changes to your home, buying and selling a home. Mars in the house of mortgages. This is Thursday through Monday. And even renting a home. So, for example, renting your home out and buying a new home, renting your home out and decorating a new home. I don't know. Finding a new beautiful rental home that is good for your finances, helps you eliminate some expenses. I don't know. Mars is really up there going through October zones of real estate. So what was going on with property, land, real estate, October, this back for your addressing of what needs to happen here. Like you're going to have a year and a half of the North Node in your fourth house. You're going to expand your home and you're going to change your home in destined ways. Most of you will. And so this is like you could move to a foreign country under the North Node in Rahu in your fourth house. You could gallivant, to another land. I think with Uranus in your sixth house, I want to also bring up the idea that there's some surprises. So at a very sweet level, a surprising new pet situation, a surprising breakthrough regarding a work situation and proximity to home. Like you can work from home or you're going to get a job that allows you to change your home and it has good financial structures, Mars in the eighth house. Changes in your home, changes in your money, changes in your work, Thursday through Monday. Keep it simple, right? Jupiter tells Venus what to do. He's in the house of contracts, legal agreements, significant business and love partners. Now, sometimes with Mars in the eighth house, and if you're in a marriage partnership that isn't doing well, like that it's going to come to an end, this is some breakthroughs in the separation of assets to do with homeland, property and real estate and marriage and energies. And Venus is a bit stuck between a rock and a hard place till February 2nd, but still look for some breakthroughs through Uranus, sort of turbocharging asset separation and agreements around that Thursday through Monday in any already failing long-term relationship. It's not going to necessarily surprise you. It's just a breakthrough in the separations of resources, especially connected to the home. And that can be something funny, like I get the sofa, you get the kitchen table. It's not a big deal, but it's there. It's there. All righty. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Backdrop story. Wait, I need more chocolate. The last three are after some kind of break for my brain. I'll be right back. So guess what happened? While I was taking my little breathing break, I decided to look at my text messages from the guy who called me, who I haven't seen in 4 or 5 years or 6 years, who lives in Vancouver, but who's from the United States. And I knew him in a meditation community. And he asked if he could meet with me in person for some help, like to give him like a energy diagnosis or psychic reading or whatever. And normally, I mean, I'm not averse to helping people in need. I just did a complimentary reading for somebody who needed some help. I do help people, but I actually wrote back in my text message, like, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. This is because I understand that it's okay to be me, which I would never be this blunt. I can't meet with you. I'm in self-care mode after autistic burnout. If you send me your birth data, I could probably look at it and use some intuition as well. Sorry, but meeting in person is too stressful on my nervous system under the best of circumstances. Honestly, it really is. I don't know him that well, right? He's not like a really good friend who needs some help. And I'm like, yeah, see, why do we need a diagnosis? Because we can begin to understand what the fuck we do wrong. When we should do one thing, we try to be conforming. Oh, someone needs my help. I'm going to be so helpful. And in the meantime, inside of me, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But I'm going to say yes anyway. So that's just a real-time example. I cannot separate this. I think I might have to start a new channel because I'm so excited to share what I'm learning. Anyway, that's not why I stopped the recording. I just stopped the recording because I thought I needed a break. In the past, I wouldn't even do that. I would just keep blasting through, as many of you know, and then you all go, oh, Pisces got ripped off. Am I recording? I am. Pisces got ripped off. And I'm sorry that I should have taken breaks, in between signs. Okay, Capricorn. Sun, moon, and rising sign. All right, earthy caps. Here's the deal. You are trying to change your money story because back in January, back in March of 2022. March 6th, if you want to know. And then February 22nd, 2024, Mars and Venus co-joined. The god of what you passionately want to choose, decide, and act on, with Venus, the goddess of money, what you need to receive financially in order to like survive in this life, in the second house, joined together. Monetary resources, Venus, that you need to survive, and Mars, what actions and decisions you need to make, join together. Yes, March of 22 and then February of 24. Each of those times, there is an incentive by the sky to help you clarify your financial matters in a yin-yang way, harmony and balance between Shiva, Shakti, masculine and feminine energy. How's it going? Because on February 22nd, 2024, you've got a shelf life till January of 2026 for this new reset button to come into being. That said, this opening triangle that's happening, called a grace triangle, a mini grand trine, is a part of that larger narrative about the money stuff. And it will be Thursday through Monday that you feel something germinating, gelling, something's trying to happen. And what's trying to happen is Mars is telling you decisions and actions want to happen in business partners and in long-term committed love relationships, right? That's where Mars is, that reflect things that were going on in October, because this is a retrograde Mars. At the same time, you're looking at matters connected to your third house of short distance travels, trips, getaways, Venus, love, beauty, harmony, maybe a connection to a sibling as well. But on this sky, you see the breakthrough in the house of lottery wins. Well, that's what that is. Algol, well star in the house of winning money. But you could win money off of this. And who's to say? So maybe Thursday through to Monday or Tuesday even, you might go, whoa, lucky me, a breakthrough. I got some money from the local kiosk, and my Lotto Max in Canada or in the United States, my Powerball ticket came up, yes, you know. So I would encourage you, it might be okay with Venus, the goddess of love and money and beauty, in the house of the local environment, flowing to the money luck house, I'll go shock and surprise, and Mars, you know, decisions and actions to take regarding long-term business and love partnerships enmeshed in the story. The other thing that I could say could happen in this energy field is that you have this desire, perhaps with Jupiter telling Venus what to do, to look at your life through the lens of right livelihood. What kind of work or service are you capable of doing that feels true and right for you? Because you just went through a South Node transit through the 10th house. A lot of you had to let go inside of yourself or in the outer world, a way that your career or your earnings through career structures looked, and maybe you realized you had to surrender it. And that was true, 23, 24, no longer so. The surrender is over. The node has moved out of that part of your sky. But there's a last gasp energy this March with an eclipse in your fourth house, change of home that can connect to a change of work. And so there's something about Jupiter retrograding since October 9th to deepen the bounty, with the question mark being, what work that I could do that's going to be of great service and goodness that will be available for me if I am allowing Jupiter to ponder this. Because on February 4th, he goes direct and he's telling Venus what to do. So a new job that requires a change of neighborhood, a new direction in work that requires travel, that kind of thing. That could be some of what's going on here. And, I didn't cover this because I don't want to cover everything, but, Uranus is forming a wedge to the North Node and Neptune, and that wedge is exciting in its own right. That could be like a real breakthrough that's quite destined for you regarding matters to do with that, work question. Another thought I have, and money. Another thought I have is, romantic love and sexual love and, all of that. And Mars is cutting and severing through the long-term committed love house. There may be some major breakthroughs in a committed long-term love relationship, but ultimately they reflect on your deeper and background story of money and earnings and resources and work. If you are in a relationship that you're not thinking is going to last, then this can be an aha moment around the division of shared assets in a relationship. For example, or your partner, Mars, may come into some shocking, surprising, positive developments regarding financial matters as well. But whatever it is, the really big story about the surprising positive developments that are occurring coming up, as I mentioned, Thursday through to Monday, is it's really taking you back to financial resources and resourcefulness. And that's what you're trying to figure out by January of 2026. Aquarius, I am one of you. So I'm a rising. You can listen for your sun and moon and rising. And the backdrop story is back in March of 2022 and February of 2024, Mars and Venus co-joined in Aquarius. That's you. This is rare. I mean, it's going to be Capricorn next, So this rare Venus-Mars conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, back synodic cycle, February of 24, and back in, March of 22, Venus, love, friendship, beauty, harmony, and peace. And Mars, decisions, actions, change, and directionality and passion, merging yin and yang, Shiva, Shakti, and your identity field as the character of Aquarius rising, as the career path of Aquarius sun, as the emotional complex and home needs of an Aquarian moon. This is a reset button that is asking you to contemplate that inner balance between your own masculine and feminine endeavors in life. And that story doesn't finish until January of 2026. So it's in place, and it's in place still. And this opening trine energy that's occurring is showing you something you need to understand by 2026 January in order to allow for this to be clear for you, to understand how it works for you. In January 26th, you'll have the answer. So Venus is flowing to Mars from the money house. That's your earnings, that's your resources, it's your possessions, that's your intake of financial wellness. And Mars is in the workhouse and he's retrograde. If you want to go back, you'll remember that he was here in September, October, and he's traveling through more the territory he traveled, kind of in October. So things are going on in the workhouse in October when he was direct. Were you a workaholic? Were you working too hard? Were you drained by your work? Were you passionate about your work? Were you making choices to eliminate things from your food style? Venus is in the house of what you put in your mouth. Or in your nose that is better for your health not to do. So there can be some breakthroughs with adjusting food style elements in your chart to better health, right? Or new movement to improve your health and what you eat as well. Sure, that's Thursday through Friday. And that, energy is there, but ultimately it's about finding that yin and yang balance, the Shiva and Shakti, the masculine and feminine balance within your character, within your life, and within yourself, and all things you do. Mars might want you to quit a job, for example. He's quite capable of that in the 6th house, and he's not leaving until mid-April. And believe me, I think I might want to quit my job. I have already decided to more or less phase out all client readings. There's still some available February, March, and April. Still have my priority pass Mondays, but all said and done, it's not my choice anymore. I do not want to be drained by doing client one-on-one sessions anymore. That's the truth, because it's just not... It's not what I need. I've done 5,000 to 6,000 readings in 5 years. I don't need any more, field work for astrology. I got it. I figured out things I would have never known without immersing myself in the lives of strangers. But as an ASD person, it is draining on my nervous system. So with Mars moving through this house, are you going to quit something? Is it a food style change? Are you going to quit the alcohol, the weed, the vape? Are you going to quit the job? Now, will you quit the job Thursday through Monday? Who knows? Maybe. But you may also be making decisions around how to quit, putting the pegs in place for ending something in the career and workspace that it's about generating the revenue. Now, passion projects are Mars' specialty. And so you might get engaged in a passion project with regards to work that is also about generating money. But Venus is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and she's besieged a little bit or enclosed between Saturn and the North Node. So you might have to wait till February 2nd to really move into this passion project fully. She's just not ready to light up yet with that passion project. I'm pretty sure it's my new channel on autism. What about my new special interest? What about Uranus? Breakthrough, surprise, shock about home, land, property, real estate, or your childhood. Mars is in the house of landlords and leasing and rentals. and pets. And Uranus is in the home. Shockingly, you got a new pet. Shockingly, you've got a new rental contract. Shockingly, some surprises are happening to do with your childhood and understanding who you are and who you are in relative to the work you do in this world. For example, and this is Thursday through Monday's positive mini trine shock and surprise. Jupiter is telling Venus what to do from the house of creativity, from the house of children, from the house of romance. That's your fifth house. But in this regards, given that Jupiter's looking at Venus in a money house and Mars is in a work house, this is like Jupiter saying, I've been backwards since October 9th to deepen the bounty of creativity, entrepreneurship, and inspiration. For that, follow your bliss mandate of Joseph Campbell is what Jupiter's trying to point you toward. And he's telling Venus what to do in the money and earnings house. And Mars is collaborating from the work house. So there's a lot of deepening your bounty to find work or work structures that are supportive to you. Maybe you could win money, but it's because you found an old lottery ticket under your sofa because Jupiter's retrograde here, Thursday through Monday. Okay, so it's not going to be money that come, or you bought the ticket ages ago and the draw is coming up now. You know, it's like one of those hospital lotteries or something, because Jupiter retrograde to win money in the fifth house of money winning through gambling, gaming, and luck can happen with Venus exalted in the second house, but it has to be something from the past. It's not very likely because you go out and buy a lottery ticket Thursday through Monday. So it's coming back, bounty and luck and money, shock and surprise from the past. Yeah. So the lottery I'm in is called a home lottery for a hospital. So it could work like that, but I believe the draw is not until February. So this would be an early bonus draw, and maybe I'll win some money, let you guys know, right? If I won the second to last draw and they're going to toss me a couple $100,000, believe me, I'll say thank you. Thank you, or the car or whatever they're going to say. But it could be something like that. So keep that in mind. I always buy hospital lottery draws because I've had some exceptionally positive experience with hospital staff in my life for various reasons. And so I'm always supportive of helping my local hospitals. And I'm always buying their tickets every year from the Children's Hospital, the Women's Hospital, the main hospital. I really like VGH, Vancouver General. Saved my daughter many times, my ex-husband, my own ass as well. So I'm an advocate for hospitals being a useful part of society. All right, moving out of us. That's all I've got for you. Let me know what happens. I'd love to hear in the comments. And finally, and lastly, but never the leastly, is the Pisces Sun, Moon, and Rising sign folk. So Pisces Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, it is a narrative here that's really, really important because you have reset a button in Aquarius in March of 2022 and February of 2024 in a spiritually deep place. It is like, are you ready for enlightenment? Shiva Shakti and the Ida and the Nadis, Pingala and Ida need to twirl up the spinal column and give you a Kundalini awakening, because honestly, I think that Shiva Shakti Mars Venus masculine feminine union in your 12th house of full-on moksha enlightenment could be indicating that's not a bad direction to aim for. Similar, it could also open up a chance to travel abroad, move to another country, or make money from far off foreign shores and distant places. And that last promise of this conjunction in February of 24 expires in January of 2026. Against that backdrop, Venus now and Mars are in a beautiful waltz between the house of your identity. Are you liking yourself more lately? Have you noticed? Are you loving yourself more? Do you appreciate who you are? Do other people find you a little bit more charming than usual? Possibly. This is a traditional Venus transit through here, but this is a rare version of her transit through here, most like how she spent a lot of time in Pisces back in the spring of 2017, and that's because of retrogradation. So Venus is giving you a deep glow up in exaltation, and she's flowing to Mars in the house of romance and love. And if you're looking for love as a single Pisces, yes. If an old lover from the past is engaging you this Thursday through Monday, yes. Mars retrograde in the house of lovers. If you also are looking at this in terms of creativity and art and entrepreneurial stuff, this is going to be a nice turbocharged Thursday through Monday uplift with divine downloads and insights and ahas around writing projects, communication projects, social media projects. That's your Uranus algal third house stuff. You may have an unexpected, surprising opportunity to travel connected to love and romance, or you may be having a getaway that you plan or choose, but you've been there before. So leisure and romantic getaways, Thursday through Monday. But yeah, you've been to that place before. Mars is retrograde, but you're going back again. It's good for romantic trysts and travel trips. Okay. That's what I'm saying. But Venus is constricted here. She's got her shoulders, up against, Saturn and the North Node. And you might be feeling also a little bit constrained about the whole thing. Like there's something bigger that you want to get out of this. For example, Venus says own your house of secret love romances. And maybe you're having a getaway with a lover while your wife or husband is doing something else, and that you might just be feeling now a little bit more constrained about it. And just so you know, for romantic love affairs for Pisces that are secret, okay, this containment of Venus happens again the first week of April, first 7 days, and also on the 24th. And so if you thought this was working for you, you're like, I'm going to be the mistress, for example, in or a third in another person's love life, or I'm the one cheating, or this is no longer going to be sustainable. You're going to have to break out of it because that containment that Venus feels here isn't comfortable. So I'll have to just let you know that. I'm sure you're not going to tell me in the comments, right, if this is you, because that would be dumb, but just keep abreast of that, right? Because that South Node transit through your marriage house is going to last till July of 2026. And if you are in an unhappy marriage and you're having romantic lovers instead, then this marriage is probably toast. If you're single, you could meet a soulmate love partner that also becomes connected to long-term love. But for the ones that are already married, this is never an easy transit. Every 18 and a half years, a South Node through the marriage house stresses the relationship out as you focus on what you need and what you want. Anything else I need to tell you? Jupiter telling Venus what to do from home, property, land, and real estate. He goes direct February 4th. Is it time to make a change in your life in the home, property, real estate part of your story? Is there a need to make a change with what you're doing in that home that makes you feel good about being you? That's some questions that Venus might be drawing your mind and attention to. So pay attention to what goes on, because you'll make some turning point decisions maybe. February the 4th onward to June 9th regarding matters of the home, property, land, and real estate. And with an eclipse in March, by the way, in the second house, activating shared resources and sextiling Jupiter, some of you may be looking at choices to do with changing your home, selling your home, separating your home from your partner, your husband, getting a new home, because that eclipse in March will reverb, right, backwards 6 weeks, March 29th, before, add 6 weeks before and up to a year later. And with the rest of the sky looking the way it looks, there are maybe some changes of home connected to divorce and separation enactments coming through the sky in the next year and a half. And some of that energy is already percolating in this week, Thursday through to Monday, for your consideration or pre-planning, etc. That's what I got for you. It sounds like a soap opera. You guys sound like you're like Days of Our Lives, young and restless. Oh my God. Again, if you're single looking for love, I like this as a early entry point for a new love story. But the Mars retrograde brings people from your past back. So you might come back into a love story as a single Pisces with someone you were with in the past. Old love returns, old romance returns. Time for a getaway. Maybe you take a trip and you bump into that person. All right, I'm done. Or you're wandering the neighborhood, because this is also a connection to your third house of neighborhoods. You're wandering the neighborhood and bang, all of a sudden there's your lover from 5 years ago, your boyfriend from 10 years ago, and you start chatting and you're single and they're single. And the next thing you know, that's the kind of thing that might happen for single Pisces Thursday through Monday. In your case, you can tell me in the comments what happens without worrying about your husband or wife finding out. So let me know. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, like, subscribe, check my description box. Come join me on the Substack Pluto Chronicles. We have founding member Zoom calls once a month. I love those as well. If you want to get me in an intimate setting, I do not get stressed out teaching classes or doing group Zoom calls. I quite enjoy them. It's the one-on-one, so I'm doing a one-on-one reading with a client. Sometimes I say, should I look at the camera, like eye contact, or do I look at them? And I just find the whole visual field on Zoom very stressful for me anyway, when I'm one-on-one with a person that I don't know and I'm doing a reading, and I'm good at what I do, but it's also neurologically draining for me, just so you know. Thanks, guys. I feel like free and alive, and I've figured myself out at 62 years old. Who goes to school in kindergarten, stops talking until like grade 11 in high school? Who does that? Who doesn't talk in school for all those years? Someone who's ASD. All right, ciao. Have a wonderful day.